ABC 10 News at 4 starts now.
We begin with the rising heat and Santa Ana winds. Right now, fire crews are preparing to respond to any potential wildfires just weeks after the Valley Fire tore through the East County, destroying more than 16,000 acres. As ABC 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala explains, SDG&E has also notified customers their power may be shut off.
It doesn't have to be a major fire to affect people.
It's hot, very dry, and windy. A recipe forcing San Diego's fire crews to be on high alert, especially in the backcountry. SDG&E initially warned hundreds of East County customers of the possibility of a public safety power shutoff. The shutoffs are approved by California regulators to reduce the fire risk during dangerous weather conditions. By Monday afternoon, SDG&E said most were given the all clear, but 19 customers were still at risk of losing power in Descanso. The National Weather Service extended Monday's red flag warning through Tuesday at 5 p.m. for the inland valleys and mountains. A heat advisory will also be in effect Tuesday through Thursday, keeping dangerous fire conditions in the forecast. Just weeks ago, we saw the Valley Fire destroy homes and thousands of acres in Capitol Valley. CAL FIRE crews are preparing for the possibility of a similar situation.
So if everybody can do their part, anything they can think of that might start a fire, whether it's dragging chains down the highway, clearing brush with a metal mower, please be extra cautious.
This year alone, more than 8,000 wildfires have spread across California, burning more than 3.7 million acres and keeping fire crews busy.
We, from San Diego, CAL FIRE, San Diego County Fire, we still have 28 pieces of equipment up and down the state.
Crews say they are prepared to respond from the ground and the air, but if a fire does spark, they need residents to be ready to quickly leave their homes.
Evacuation is inconvenient. When we do the road closures, it's inconvenient, but please, the inconvenience that you feel is nothing compared to losing a life.
Mimi Alcala, ABC 10 News.
CAL FIRE has also requested fire agencies across the county provide resources and staffing. They're asking residents to sign up for reverse 911 calls at readysandiego.org. Governor Newsom spoke as firefighters continue to battle flames in Napa, Sonoma, Butte, and Shasta counties. All of those wildfires exploded in size overnight. They are fueled by dry winds. The fires have forced thousands of residents to evacuate.
Those winds will maintain themselves. They'll begin to dissipate later in the afternoon, stabilize overnight, which should help with our efforts to take advantage of those conditions and move to advance our containment efforts.
And this fire has destroyed a few wineries in the Napa Valley. As we mentioned earlier, the state has seen a record number of wildfires this year, straining the state's wildfire resources. And this has prompted the governor to promise new efforts to combat climate change. That includes an executive order to phase out gas-powered cars by 2035. We're going to go now to meteorologist Angelica Campos. She is tracking these conditions, really fire conditions right now from her home live. Hi, Angelica.
Hi, Kim, and everything really is correlated. We had a very dry summer. We didn't have much monsoonal moisture, and then when we did, it was dry lightning creating some fires. But as we head into the next couple of days, we'll have to be very cautious because critical fire danger is back. So we've seen the effects of it, how it spreads a fire very quickly up north. Here, thankfully, we're pretty quiet as we speak, but we do have a red flag warning, which means if there is a fire, it would spread very quickly. It'll be in effect until 5 p.m. on Tuesday, and then on top of that, the Santa Ana winds we do have are drying out the atmosphere and also heating things up. So a heat advisory has been issued. It will begin at 10 a.m. on Tuesday through 8 p.m. on Thursday. So the strongest winds are expected into tomorrow morning. And even right now, not a lot of wind as we speak, but the heat will peak on Wednesday. It will stay pretty hot also on Thursday before we get to see some minor changes by the end of the week. Of course, I'll break it all down in our 7-day forecast and I'll show you what kind of temperatures we can expect around the county.
Remember, you can track the weather anytime you're away from your television. Just download the ABC 10 News mobile app. Tragedy on the beach today. A woman was killed when she was run over by heavy machinery. This happened at Oceanside Harbor Beach along North Pacific Drive. ABC 10 News reporter Rachel Bianco is joining us live with why surfers were worried about the woman hours earlier. Rachel?
Hi, Kimberly. Right now, there is every indication that this was simply a tragic accident. Now, take a look behind me. You can see the beach is fairly crowded right now, but this happened hours earlier, around 10 o'clock this morning. There weren't as many people out here on the sand, and the woman was sleeping up here in the sand. You can see some of that heavy machinery parked in the background. Police say that she was asleep when the driver of a tractor ran her over, crushing her to death. Police say the driver did not see her. He was removing equipment that was used in a sand dredging project that's been going on here for at least a few weeks. You can see the piping up and down the beach. It was a private company that was doing this project. We also talked to a surfer earlier this morning, and he said that he saw the woman and that she appeared to be having some trouble standing up. He didn't know if she was drunk or under the influence of something, but he was coming out of the water and he told one of his friends to kind of try to keep an eye on her because he was worried. At one point, she looked like she was asleep up against a wall here near the shower area, and then when he came back, that's when he learned what had happened. So, of course, he felt awful about the situation. Police say the woman may have been homeless. She did not have any ID on her that they could find. So it's possible that she was a transient. They're still trying to identify her. They say she's in her late 40s, early 50s. And again, I contacted the private company out of Seattle that was doing this work to see if they usually use spotters when they're doing this type of project. We are still waiting to hear back. Reporting live in Oceanside, Rachel Bianco, ABC 10 News.
Several new wildfires in California are growing rapidly, burning structures, wineries, and forcing thousands to evacuate. The Zogg Fire is burning in Shasta County. And meanwhile, some of the most destructive fires are part of the Glass Fire in the heart of wine country in St. Helena. Listen to that wind fueling these fires. The Zogg Fire ripping through homes overnight. Firefighters did manage, as you take a look at this video here, to save a kitten that was in distress nearby. Meanwhile, further south, air tankers dropping fire retardant over flames near vineyards in St. Helena. Now this is why evacuations are in place. Many roads are lined with flames and burning embers, as you take a look at that video there. And there have been more than 8,100 wildfires in California this year. There are about 25 major active fires. All right, let's start the news feed. The country's top infectious disease expert says the U.S. is not in a good place heading into winter. Dr. Anthony Fauci is concerned about rising COVID infection and hospitalization rates in some places. Now, he's not calling for another shutdown, but he is suggesting keeping public health measures in place. Well, there's a pause on moving to phase 3 testing for one possible coronavirus vaccine. A U.S. health regulator wants more information before allowing Inovio Pharmaceuticals to move forward. It's not due to any side effects or issues. They just want to know more about the method of how the vaccine would be administered, since it is different from others in development. And even with COVID-19, still only about a third of parents believe it's more important to get the flu shot this year. Only a third plan to have their child vaccinated, according to a national poll. Medical experts are worried about the risk of getting the flu and COVID at the same time. Another big unknown is how COVID survivors will be impacted by the flu.